Of course, we have to understand applications of transistor. There are two applications of transistor. Transistor can be used as a switch and transistor can be used as a amplifier. Okay, for that we need to understand one more concept called as transistor load, LOAD, load line concept. Okay, transistor load line concept. For that, what we will do is we will use transistor in CE configuration. Transistor in CE configuration. Okay, so most of the application which we will try to understand, we will try to understand keeping the transistor in configuration, CE configuration mode. And as I have already told you, we have for all this configuration we have used only NPN transistor. Okay, so common emitter configuration, emitter should be common for both input as well as output. So input is applied between base and emitter, and output is applied between collector and emitter. Okay, and emitter base junction should be forward bias, collector base junction should be reverse bias. This is arrow mark is outward, so it is an NPN transistor, N connected to negative, P connected to positive. Okay, so this will be plus minus, this will be VBB which will be applied to the base, which will forward bias the base emitter junction. Okay, here we will apply the input voltage V in, which has positive as well as negative half cycle. Now for a collector emitter junction, collector has to be reversed bias. We have to see only the collector junction and it has to be reversed bias. So collector is N region, so N region should be connected to positive. Okay, and then you have the collector resistance RC and the collector current IC which will be flowing. Okay, the total voltage applied across the collector region is VCC. So if you apply Kirchhoff's voltage law to this collector circuit, what you are going to get is VCC is equal to IC into RC. Sorry, yes, I can write it that IC into RC plus VCE. Okay, plus VCE. So this is the equation, or I can say VCE is equal to VCC minus IC into RC. So this is the equation for when transistor is connected in CE configuration. Okay, so now let us try to understand transistorized load line concept. From this diagram, what you can see is VCC is the supply voltage at collector which is fixed, RC is the collector resistance which is fixed. So what changes? That means there will be the two variable quantities VCE and IC, right? These are the two variable quantity. So to understand transistorized load line concept, we draw a graph between VCE on x-axis and IC on y-axis. Okay, of course, as I said, VCC and RC are constant, so VCE is directly proportional to IC. Any change in IC will produce corresponding change in VCE and vice versa. Any change in VCE will produce corresponding change in IC. So if when you draw a graph for this VCC and IC, it will be a straight line. Okay, it will be a linear graph, and for a straight line to obtain on a graph, we need 2 points. Okay, we need 2 points, one on the x-axis and one on the y-axis. For that, what we will do is, first case, I will make IC equals to 0. Okay, in this equation, if I make IC is equal to 0, IC into RC, 0 of course, VC is equal to VCC, VCE equals to VCC. That means we got, when IC is equal to 0, we got 1 point on your x-axis, that is VCE is equal to VCC. Okay, and second case, we make VCE equals to 0. So even when I make VCE is equal to 0, what this equation will be? This will be VCC is equal to IC into RC, or IC is equal to VCC upon RC, right? When VC is equal to 0, if I bring this here, it will be VCC is equal to IC into RC, or IC is equal to VCC upon RC. So we got one more point. When VC is equal to 0, we got one more point on y-axis, which is VCC upon RC. And when you join these two lines, this is called as DC load line. Okay, now what are the things which has to be understood by using DC load line? Okay, I said the transistor works in three regions. The transistor works in three regions: saturation, cutoff, and active region. Okay, so from this, the graph which we have drawn, we can easily identify which are the 2 points which shows or indicates saturation and cutoff. Okay, now in the first case, what I did is IC is equal to 0. IC is equal to 0 means no collector current. IC is the output current, so no output current. And this will happen when there is no input current, right? That means no current is flowing through the transistor. And when no current is flowing through the transistor is said to be working in cutoff region. So when I say IC is equal to 0, or the point which I have got VC is equal to VCC, this point is nothing but cut off region. Okay, cut off region. Similarly, when we made VC is equal to 0, VCC is equal to IC into RC, and IC is equal to VCC upon RC, that is the maximum possible current which will be flowing in the transistor. And when large amount of current is flowing through the transistor is said to be working in saturation region. So this point is saturation region. Okay, saturation region. Now we have to adjust the input voltage in such a way that there will be some base current. Okay, and when the base current flows, of course the graph will be for VCE versus IC. We have studied this graph in the output characteristics of common emitter configuration, VC versus IC, for a constant value of base current. Okay, so for a particular base current, it will pass through like this. The intersection of that particular base current, say IB is equal to 5 microampere, and the DC load line, this is called as operating point of transistor, operating point of transistor, or Q point of transistor. Okay, operating point of transistor or Q point of the transistor. And the Q point or the operating point of the transistor should be exactly between that of saturation and cutoff, because the input signal which we are going to apply, which has to be amplified by the transistor, has to be applied to the operating point of the transistor. I will draw 3 diagrams to explain you why it is necessary to have the operating point of the transistor or Q point of the transistor exactly at the center of saturation and cutoff. This is called as active region. So active region should be exactly in between that of saturation and cutoff. Okay, so I will draw the 3 graphs. Suppose this is saturation, this is cutoff. Okay, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, saturation, cutoff, saturation, cutoff. Suppose the operating point is exactly at the center between that of saturation and cutoff. So if you apply a small signal at the input, of course, which will be applied to the active region, that is operating point of the transistor. Now what will happen is the transistor tends to amplify the signals, increase the strength of the input signal. So the signal will be like this. Okay, both the positive as well as negative half cycle is amplified. So this is a proper amplification. Okay, suppose the operating point shifts towards saturation. Suppose the operating point shifts towards saturation. Of course, input signal will be applied to the operating point, and when you get the amplified signal will be like this. Okay, negative half cycle is completely amplified, but positive half cycle will be like this. The signal will look like this, right? The signal will look like this. Okay, is that a proper amplification? Positive half cycle has been clipped out of the circuit, only negative half cycle is amplified properly. And in the third case, suppose the operating point shifts towards cutoff region, the input signal will be applied to the operating point and the signal will be like this. Okay, positive half cycle will be completely amplified, and negative cycle will be as if it will be clipped from the circuit. So in all these three diagrams, what you can see is proper amplification has been done only in the first case, not in the second, not in the third. That means operating point should be exactly in between that of saturation and cutoff, and that will be decided by the base current which will be flowing, है ना. बेस करंट का जहां इंटरैक्शन हो रहा है डीसी लोड लाइन को, उसी को हम ऑपरेटिंग पॉइंट का बोल रहे हैं. तो वी हैव टू एडजस्ट द बेस करंट और the total potential voltage VBB in such a way that the operating point should be stable between that of saturation and cutoff. Okay, so this is nothing but the load line concept of transistor. So we need to understand that for proper amplification, the operating point should be exactly between that of saturation and cutoff. I hope you have understood. Next, we will try to understand transistor applications. In that, first we will try to understand transistor as a switch. When I say transistor is acting as a switch, that means either the transistor will be in on state or completely off state. On state or off state. And when I say on state, that means heavy amount of current is flowing through the transistor, and off state means no current is flowing in the transistor. That means you have to use the transistor, right? You have to use the transistor in only two regions, that is saturation and cutoff. Okay, so when I draw the circuit now, instead of using two power supply, I will use common emitter configuration, but now I will use only with one power supply, emitter being ground, collector being connected to positive supply. This is IC, this is base resistance IB, this is base current IB, this is your transistor Q1, suppose. Okay, and this is your V in. This is your V in. Okay, now suppose V in is grounded. V in is grounded. That means zero potential is applied. Okay, it is connected to ground, 0 volt. Okay, so what happens is IB will be equal to 0, and when IB is equal to 0 for this transistor, we will mention the output voltage equation is given by VCC is equal to IC into RC, and this is collector emitter junction plus VCE. Okay, VCC is equal to IC into RC plus VCE, and so VCE is equal to VCC minus IC into RC. Okay, so now when V in is equal to 0, IB will be equal to 0. There will be no base current which will be flowing through the transistor. The transistor will be working as open switch, and when the transistor is working as open switch, no current will flow through the transistor. When no current is flowing through the transistor is at this point. Okay, this point is called as cutoff region. So when Vin is grounded, IB will be equal to 0. Therefore transistor is in open state. Therefore IC is equal to 0. No current flows through the transistor. No current flows through the transistor. That is transistor is in cutoff region. Okay, so first state, when Vin is grounded, IB is equal to 0, transistor is in open state, IC will be equal to 0, no current flows through the transistor, that is transistor is in cutoff region. Okay, that means transistor is in off state. So one of the state is reached. Okay, second case. Now in second case what happens is, for example, even if you apply 0.1 volt, the transistor should be directly driven into saturation region. It should work as on switch. So for that, what we do is, what the condition is, to drive transistor into saturation, into saturation for any non-zero input, the condition is IC should be 10 times that of IC. That means for a small base current, large amount of collector current flows, and when large collector current flows into the transistor, we say the transistor is working in saturation region. Okay, so IC should be 10 times that of IC, and this can be achieved by selecting the value of RB and RC in such a way that RB should be 10 times that of RC. So if you select the condition in such condition, so even if you apply 0.1 for a small base current, large collector current will flow and the transistor will be driven into saturation region, and the transistor will be working in on state. Large amount of current will flow through the transistor. So that is how transistor can be used as a switch. So what are the conditions? As I said, first we have drawn common emitter configuration with only single supply, right? And then for Vin to be grounded, IB will be 0, transistor will be in cutoff region, that means open state, no current flows through the transistor will be working in off state. And in second case, for any given input voltage, the transistor should be driven directly into saturation region, nowhere in the active region. It should be driven directly into the saturation region, क्योंकि active region में गया तो वो एम्पलीफायर करके काम करेगा, हमको वैसा काम नहीं कराना, हमको स्विच करके काम कराना है, तो कट ऑफ से सीधा सैचुरेशन में जाना चाहिए. तो टू ड्राइव the transistor into saturation region for any non-zero input voltage, IC should be 10 times that of IC. ये कंडीशन सेटिस्फाई करने के लिए हम लोगों को रेजिस्टेंस ऐसे सिलेक्ट करने पड़ेंगे कि RB should be 10 times that of RC. If you select that, for small base current, large collector current will flow and the transistor will be in on state always. Okay, so either it will work in cutoff region or saturation region, off switch or on switch. So that is how transistor can be used as a switch. The last topic, that is the second application of the transistor as amplifier. I will take one example so that you can understand. The circuit diagram for transistor as an amplifier. Input is applied to the base, emitter is grounded, and collector should be connected to positive supply. This is collector current IC, collector resistance RC, this is collector to emitter voltage VCE, and this is your base. Okay, so this is the circuit diagram for transistor as amplifier. Amplifier means it will increase the strength of the signal at the output. Now when we are connected, this is your Vin. Okay, this is Vin, input voltage. Now this transistor The input is applied between base and emitter, output is taken between collector and emitter. The output, this transistor is connected in CE configuration, and for CE configuration the current amplification factor is IC upon IB. Okay, beta is equal to IC upon IB, or I can say IC is equal to beta multiplied by IB. Okay, beta multiplied by IB. Now beta for this transistor, IC upon IB, IC is very large, IB is very small, right? From this equation, IE is equal to IB plus IC. Out of 100% emitter current, 2% goes into base, 98% goes into collector. So IB is very small as compared to IC. So beta will be very large, and for a standard transistor, for a standard NPN transistor, the beta value is 300, around 300. Okay, so now let us take one example so that you can understand how a transistor can be used as an amplifier. Before that, you have to understand that whenever a transistor is used as an amplifier, the collector resistance should be very large, within the range of 4 kilo ohms to 10 kilo ohms. That means it has to be selected in such a way that the resistance will be very large, 4 kilo ohms to 10 kilo ohms, so that the output voltage will be dropped across the collector resistance. Okay, so the output voltage will be IC multiplied by RC. Okay, now suppose no input is applied, so IB will be 0, right? And if IB is 0, of course beta multiplied by IB, IC will also be 0. That means no current is flowing through the transistor. So without giving input, you cannot use the transistor as an amplifier. Now suppose a small voltage, 0.1 volt is applied. Okay, 0.1 volt is applied, and there will be small base current, say 10 microampere flows. Okay, so what we know IB, we know beta, we can calculate the value of IC. So IC is equal to beta multiplied by IB. What is beta? Beta is 300 multiplied by 10 into what is IB? IB is 10 microampere, 10 into 10 to the power minus 6. So this value becomes 3000 into 10 to the power minus 6, or I can write 3 into 10 to the power minus 3. That means 3 milliampere. So now what you can see is, as the transistor is connected in CE configuration and beta is very large, for a small base current 10 microampere, the output current IC becomes very large, 3 milliampere. Okay, so this is the value of IC. Now let us calculate the output voltage. IC is 3 into 10 to the power minus 3 multiplied by RC, and RC should be selected within the range of 4 kilo ohms to 10 kilo ohms. High resistance value should be used. Let us say we use 5 kilo ohms. So 5 into 10 to the power 3. So this 2 gets cancelled. So V0 is 3 multiplied by 5 is 15. What was input voltage? V in was 0.1 volt. V out is 15 volt. So what will be the voltage gain? Voltage gain is always output divided by input. So V out divided by V in, 15 upon 0.1, which comes out to be 150. Okay, which comes out to be 150. That means output has been increased 150 times with respect to the input voltage. मतलब क्या किया अपन ने? इनपुट सिग्नल का स्ट्रेंथ को आउटपुट में बढ़ा के दे दिया by using this transistor. So therefore this is how we can use transistor as an amplifier. I hope you have understood the concept. So suppose we have designed an amplifier. Okay, we have designed an amplifier. The input is say 2 volt and the output is say 10 volt. Okay, so what you can see is this is the input and this is your output. So the strength of the input signal has increased at the output. So that type of circuit is called as amplifier, and there is a factor called as amplification factor. Now we have took example of voltage, so the amplification factor will be given as AV. AV stands for voltage. A is the amplification factor and V is the voltage. The amplification factor will be always, this is V in
this is V out, so it will be always V out upon V in. That means 10 volt divided by 2 volts, so amplification factor is 5. That means input is amplified 5 times at the output. So such type of circuit is called as amplifier. Sometimes what happens is amplification, this type of amplifier is called as single stage amplifier. Okay, they are called as single stage amplifier. And sometimes the amplification factor of single stage amplifiers are not enough. In that case we have to use multi-stage amplifier. Multi-stage amplifier. You can understand where I'm going to end up, right? So we have started multi-stage amplifier, and that is what we have to study, right? So multi-stage amplifier. See, suppose I have an amplifier whose maximum gain is, sorry, not volt, there will be no unit for amplification factor. So I have designed an amplifier whose maximum gain is 10. Okay, then I have given V in as 1 volt. How much I am going to get at the output? You can understand, voltage gain is equal to output upon input. So output voltage will be voltage gain multiplied by input. Voltage gain is 10 and input is 1 volt. So 1 multiplied by 10, the output V out will be 10 volt. But what I want is, I want the output to be 1000 volt, the output to be 1000 volt for the input, for an input of 1 volt. That means I am not going to change the input voltage has to be 1 volt. Of course, as I said, I have designed an amplifier with a maximum gain of 10. That means I cannot increase the gain factor, amplification factor I cannot increase, it has to be 10. But still what I want is I want the output to be 1000 volt. Is it possible with the single stage? Of course not. The maximum output voltage with a single stage amplifier, what I'm going to get is 10 volt, and that is where we use multi-stage amplifier. As I said, sometimes the gain of one single stage amplifier is not enough, so we use multi-stage amplifier. So what I can do is, of course I cannot increase the gain, but I can design one more amplifier with the same gain. So if I design one more amplifier with the same gain, what I can get is, and here at the output I will get 10 volt. Here 10 multiplied by 10, I will get 100 volts. If I add one more such circuit, what I'm going to get is 1000 volts for the same input voltage, and I haven't increased the gain factor. Of course I have increased the stages, but I haven't increased the gain factor. So this is what is called as multi-stage amplifier. And depending upon how the output of first is connected to the input of second, right? Output of the first is connected to the input of the second. If it is connected by a resistance and a capacitor, the amplifiers are called as RC coupled amplifier. And if the output of the first is directly connected to the input of the second, it is called as direct coupled amplifier. Hello students, in this video we will try to understand RC coupled amplifier and direct coupled amplifier. In the previous video I have explained you what is multi-stage amplifier, and depending upon how the output of the first stage is connected to the input of the second stage, the amplifiers can be classified as RC coupled and direct coupled amplifier. So RC coupled amplifier, see the circuit diagram. First I will draw the single stage amplifier. This is one single stage amplifier. If you connect like this, this will be the output with respect to ground. So this is all grounded. This is a single stage amplifier. This is RB1 this is RB2, sorry, R1, this is R1, this is RB1, and this is RC1. This is a transistor Q1. If you apply supply voltage with respect to ground, and if this is V in, and this will be your V out. Okay, so this is called as single stage amplifier. This input will be transferred to the output with an amplification factor. Okay, here the most important thing is RC1, which acts as an amplification factor. Okay, and this R1 and RB1 will make sure that the transistor is properly biased. Okay, before understanding the circuit, let us try to understand what I said, why I said the transistor is properly biased. Please understand this. Okay, now for transistor, I have already told you about all these things when I taught you transistor, that is for logic families. When I taught you transistor, just go back to that video, you can see what I am trying to say. Now there the transistor was used as a switch, so either the transistor will be working in saturation region or in the cutoff region. But when the transistor has to be used as an amplifier, it should be in the active region. Okay, active region means active region will be exactly between the center of saturation and cutoff. That means active region, the input signal will be applied here and the signal will be amplified at this point. Okay, so the operating point should be at the exactly at the center. Now if this R1 RB1 is not connected, the transistor is not biased. And if the transistor is not biased, see what happens is the operating point shifts. So if the operating point shifts towards saturation, what happens is, now the input signal we will be applying on the operating point always, so the output will be like this. So negative half cycle will be completely amplified, full, but positive half cycle, only half of the wave will be amplified, the other half will not be there in the output. It will be clipped, it will be as if it will be clipped from the circuit. So what you are getting at the output will be like this, only this part. Is that a proper amplification? Of course not. And if the operating point say shift towards cutoff, now the input signal will be applied at cutoff. So what happens is the output signal will be like this. Okay, so positive half cycle will be completely amplified, but negative half cycle, only small portion of negative cycle amplified and other remaining part will be clipped from the circuit. So the waveform will look like this. So is this correct amplification? No. So correct amplification happens only when both the half cycles are properly amplified, and that will happen only when the operating point or Q point, we always called as Q point is stable between that of saturation and cutoff. And to keep the Q point stable at the center between saturation and cutoff, we have to connect this biasing resistance R1 and RB1, which will properly bias Q1 transistor for all changes and will make sure that the operating point is stable. And if the operating point is stable, what you can see is both positive and negative half cycle will be amplified. Okay, so this is about single stage amplifier. But now we are trying to understand RC coupled. So we will have multiple stages of this amplifier. In RC coupled amplifier, the output of the first stage is connected through a resistance and a capacitor to the input of the second stage. Again, biasing resistance, transistor, so I will call this as R2, RB2, RC2, and let this be transistor Q2. Similarly, the output of the second is connected through a resistor and a capacitor to one more transistor. I will call this as R3, RB3 and RC3. From here we will take the output. This is the output voltage, okay, and this everything we have to connect together and connect it to positive supply plus VCC, okay. So this is the circuit diagram, and of course this will be ground. So input will be applied between these 2 points, output will be taken between these 2 points, okay. So that is the circuit diagram. Now let us try to understand the disadvantage. RC1, C1, RC2, C2 and so on if the number of stages increases, okay. Now suppose if we have applied 1 volt and gain of each section is of 10, okay, 10, say this is Q3, 10. So what will be the output? 1 multiplied by 10, here the output will be 10 volts. 10 multiplied by gain will be again 10, so here it will be 100 volt. 100 multiplied by 10, the output should be 1000 volt, okay. So if you give 1 volt, the expected output is 1000 volt if the gain of each stage is 10 volt. Now if this 1 volt which we are going to apply can have different frequencies, right from 1 hertz to 10 hertz to 100 hertz to 1 kilohertz to 10 kilohertz to 100 kilohertz to 1 megahertz, anything. This 1 volt can have any frequency, right? So what is expected is, if you have designed a very good circuit, whatever be the frequency, if you give 1 volt, the output should be 1000 volt, and that graph is called as frequency response curve. Frequency response curve, where frequency is taken on x-axis and gain is taken on y-axis, okay. And according to theory, a very good amplifier will have a straight line. What does that mean? What does that mean? That even if our input signal the frequency is changed, if you are giving 1 volt, the output should be 1000 volt for any frequency, okay. That will be a straight line, okay. Now let us try to understand what happens in a RC coupled amplifier, the disadvantages of RC coupled amplifier. Now what is the formula for capacitive reactance? Xc is equal to 1 upon 2 pi Fc, right, where 2 pi is constant, C is the capacity of the capacitor which is also constant, and F is frequency. So we know capacitive reactance. What is capacitive reactance? Resistance offered by the capacitor for the signals. So if the frequency is low, capacitive reactance will be high. That means at low frequency, the resistance offered by the capacitor will be very large. That means this 10 volt is the output of the first stage, but this entire 10 volt will not reach to the input of the second, because the resistance offered by the capacitor will be very large. Some voltage will be dropped across here. Say only 8 volt reaches at this point. Now 8 multiplied by 100, right, 8 multiplied by 10, how much will be the value? It should be 100, but what you are going to get is 80 volts. Now this 80 volts has to be transferred to the input of the third transistor, but again, as the capacitive reactance at low frequency is very high, this entire 80 volt will not be transferred. Say 70 volt is transferred. So 70 multiplied by 10, how much you are getting? 700 volts. What does that mean? What does that mean? That what is the expected output? 1000 volt, but how much you are getting? 700 volts. So what is gain? Gain is output upon input. Expected gain was 1000, you are getting as 700. That means at low frequency, the gain of the amplifier dips, okay. The gain of the amplifier decreases in low frequency, and as the frequency increases, capacitive reactance will decrease, and as the resistance decreases, the gain will increase, and at some point it will be at its peak value, okay, maximum value. So this is okay. This is for low frequency. In high frequency, what happens is all these three transistors which we have connected are common or NPN transistor. They are connected in common emitter configuration mode. So at high frequency, any device working at high frequency, even your mobile phone, if you are using it continuously, the temperature increases because of heat dissipation. Same thing happens with RC coupled amplifier also. So at RC coupled at high frequency, the circuit starts heating up, which affects the amplification factor of the transistor, and therefore the amplification factor decreases at high frequency. So that means the gain remains constant only for a small range of frequency from F1 to F2, okay. For all other frequency, low frequency, because of the coupling capacitor, the gain decreases. At high frequency, because of the amplification factor of the transistor, the gain decreases. The gain remains constant only for a range of frequency from F1 to F2. So from all these points, we can write the four disadvantage related to RC coupled amplifier, okay. RC coupled amplifier. The first disadvantage is at low frequency, due to coupling capacitor, the gain decreases. Second, at high frequency, amplification factor of transistor decreases. Therefore gain decreases. Third point, so low frequency the gain decrease, high frequency the gain decrease, the gain remains constant only for a small range of frequency. This is called as bandwidth, the range of frequency over which the gain is constant. So we say limited bandwidth. What I said? What is bandwidth? Bandwidth is a range of frequency over which the gain is constant and which is limited between F1 and F2, right? And the last one, and the important one, is, for example, if it is a DC signal, if the input which we are going to apply is a DC signal, for DC signal frequency is 0, and if frequency is 0, capacitive reactance will be infinite, and if capacitive reactance is infinite, this will act as a open switch. It will not allow input to transfer to the output. It will not allow input to transfer output of the first stage to be connected to the input of the second stage. That means signal will not at all transfer to the output. That means for the RC coupled amplifier, DC signals cannot be amplified. So these are the four disadvantages of RC coupled amplifier. Direct coupled amplifier. First we will try to understand what are the advantages of direct coupled amplifier over the RC coupled amplifier. In the previous video we have already understood the disadvantage of RC coupled amplifier. Now what was the first disadvantage of RC coupled amplifier? At low frequency the capacitive reactance is high, therefore gain will decrease. So what we did is, in direct coupled amplifier we have removed the capacitor. So if no coupling capacitor is there, that is why it is called as direct coupled amplifier, okay. Direct coupled amplifier, no coupling capacitor. So if capacitor is not there, there is no problem of low frequency. So low frequency signal will be amplified. So low frequency signal will have a straight line. At mid frequency the gain was already constant. And at high frequency, what was the second disadvantage? The second disadvantage was, at high frequency the amplification factor of the transistor decreases, which decreases the gain of the which decreases the gain of the amplifier at high frequency. Now that is because of all the transistors were NPN and they are connected in common emitter configuration. In here, direct coupled amplifier, if the first stage is NPN, the second transistor will be PNP, so arrow mark will be outward. The third will again be NPN. Okay, so if you use complementary transistor, the amplification factor does not get affect at high frequency. So at high frequency also the gain remains constant. So you get a straight line, that means gain remains constant for all frequencies. So all the disadvantage, and the third disadvantage was limited bandwidth. Here the bandwidth is infinite, all frequencies can be amplified, and the last stage is DC signal cannot be amplified. Here DC signal also can be amplified. So all the disadvantage related to RC coupled will be removed by direct coupled amplifier. But a very important point you can note in the circuit diagram is that the biasing resistance are missing, which was an important factor in case of RC coupled amplifier to keep its operating point stable, constant between that of saturation and cutoff, right? I just told you, if you draw, so this is the saturation point and this is the cutoff point. So operating point should be stable so that both the half cycles be amplified. So operating point should be stable, and that was because of the biasing resistance. But in case of direct coupled amplifier, you have to use minimum number of resistors. So what we did is we removed the biasing resistance, because we have to keep RC1. This collector resistance has to be kept as it is, because this is the point where the output voltage is there and output voltage can be connected to the input of the second stage. So we removed the biasing resistance. So the disadvantage is, in the absence of biasing resistance, the operating point will shift, and in electronic terms this is called as drift. So we say in the absence of biasing resistance, drift is observed in direct coupled amplifier. That is the first disadvantage. And the second disadvantage is, see, again I am taking the same example, that each stage has a gain of 10. 1 volt is applied at the input, output of the first will be 10 volt, 100 volt and then 1000 volt. Now suppose this circuit is kept in a noisy environment. In an electronic terms, noise means disturbance of electrical signals. Okay, so say small noise of 0.2 volts appear at the input. So now what will be the input? Input will be 1.2 volt. So when it will be multiplied by the gain, it will be 12 volt at the first stage, it will be 120 volt at the third stage, and it will be 1200 volt at the output. How much was expected? 1000 volt. How much you are getting? 1200 volts. This 2400 volt is a very significant value, which is nothing but a noise. So this is an unwanted output. So that is the disadvantage of direct coupled amplifier. A small noise at the input is amplified to a significant value at the output. So the first disadvantage, which was related to direct coupled amplifier, in the absence of biasing resistance, drift is observed in direct coupled amplifier. So this is the disadvantage related to direct coupled amplifier. Second is small noise at the input is amplified to a significant value which is unwanted, bracket में लिखेंगे unwanted, at the output. So these are the two disadvantages of direct coupled amplifier.